Hi, Powerful Question Coaching listeners. This is Diane coming to you this morning. I'm going to talk to you today about finding a therapist that's a good fit. So I've had a lot of questions regarding finding a good therapist for either my child or my family member or for myself. And so I wanted to give some feedback on questions to ask, things to know about finding a good therapist that's a good fit. So here's the thing about therapy is I could be the best mental health therapist in the world, but if I don't connect to you and you don't connect to me, then it's not going to be beneficial as it could be. So the thing about mental health therapy is you've got to find someone who you feel safe with, who you trust their values, who you feel like I can connect to and I can be honest and open with this person. If you don't, then you're kind of wasting your time and the therapist's time because you're not going to be honest about what's going on with you and how things are going, and you're not going to benefit. And if you don't trust their advice or their input, you're not going to benefit as well either. So the thing about therapy is it's the relationship between the two people that makes it beneficial. It's the accountability and the relationship and the trust. So if you are missing that, it's not going to be the best therapy for you. So I would suggest with kiddos, I would tell my kiddos that I would give them 3 sessions. And if in 3 sessions you didn't feel safe or comfortable with me, then we need to move you on. With adults, I would say in 1 session. You should know as an adult probably in 1 session if you are going to fit with this person well. So here's what I would suggest is a couple things. If you can do a meet and greet, so a lot of therapists don't do meet and greets, but there are some therapists in private practice who will do a meet and greet, which is like 15 minutes of get to know you questions to see if it's a good fit. If a therapist will do that, I would suggest doing a meet and greet just to kind of get a sense of, is this someone who has my same values? Is this someone that I feel safe and comfortable with? Am I going to connect with this person? If I'm not, I need to move on. If they're not willing to do a meet and greet, then I would just in the first session ask them some questions just to make sure that it's a good fit. So one of the questions I'd suggest asking is, what's your focus on? Do you tend to focus on the future and how we are going to get places in the future, or do you tend to focus on the past? I am a fan myself, and everybody's different, but myself, I'm a fan of working on the future. Our past will come up as we work on the future, but what can happen is we can get stuck in our past and our pain and identify with that, and we can't move on. So I'm not a fan of spending a lot of time in our past. I'm a fan of really looking at where I want to get, how I'm going to get there, and then in that process, my stuff from my past will come up. The things that are preventing me from moving on will come up, but my focus is going to be on my future and where I'm trying to get to. So that's number 1. Number 2 is making sure the therapist shares appropriately. You do not want a therapist who makes the issues about them. So it is appropriate for a therapist to share when they're building a connection or they're showing an example of something, but you don't want a therapist to start sharing about their personal life and using it as a venue to talk about themselves. It's appropriate to bring up a situation that connects to what it is and maybe connects you and the person so that you feel like, okay, I have the same values, we're on the same page. But you want to make sure it doesn't start becoming about that therapist and them doing their stuff in your session. So that's another suggestion. Also, you want to look for a therapist who is using evidence-based practices. And by that, I mean that there is research that shows which practices are evidence-based, that they show improvement in people's lives. So one would be motivational interviewing. There's a lot of research that says motivational interviewing is very successful in moving people forward, getting them out of their ambivalent stage and helping them identify where they want to go. There's another, I love acceptance and commitment therapy. Acceptance commitment therapy is like my passion. I really connect to that one. There's dialectical behavioral therapy. That's more for a lot of people with emotion, mood regulation difficulties, and that's again called dialectical behavioral therapy. And then there is also cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are some of the evidence-based practices. So you want to know what your therapist tends to use as far as evidence-based practices. Now they're going to use a combination probably of all of them, but you want to see which ones do they tend to use the most. And so that you can kind of research those and understand that kind of therapy if you are interested in that. So another suggestion would be no shaming. I'm going to tell a story because it kind of connects to understanding what shaming is. All of us have to go to the dentist and get our teeth cleaned. But when you go to the dentist and the dentist does this, oh my, your teeth are bad. Oh, you haven't been flossing, have you? Gosh, you have to floss every day. That's just really important. And you start feeling shamed, you're not likely to return because you just got shamed and you feel yucky there. So it's the same thing with therapy. You want to make sure your therapist doesn't shame you. Things like, you should know better, why would you do that? Anything that makes you feel shame is not going to be beneficial in helping you move forward. So you want to make sure you have a therapist that doesn't shame you and kind of make you feel bad about the choices you've made, because that's not going to help you move forward. So those are some suggestions on helping you find a good fit for a therapist. The really big thing is making sure you have the same values and that this person you feel like you can connect to and be honest and share things with. Because if you're hiding things from your therapist, they're not going to help you move forward very well. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. And again, Diane with Powerful Questions Coaching. If you have any feedback, just shoot me. You can message me individually. You can just respond to this video, or you can go to powerfulquestionscoaching.com and send me an email through there. Thank you so much. Have a great day.